KBNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Northern Steel Building. A 58-year-old Logan man has been arrested and charged with sexually assaulting two women during the past 3 years. Carl Bassett was formally booked into the Cache County Jail last Thursday. Bassett was arraigned during a virtual hearing in First District Court Monday afternoon. He was charged with 4 counts of forcible sexual abuse, a second-degree felony, in 2 separate cases. Logan City Police Captain Curtis Hooley said officers received a report back on May 5th alleging Bassett had grabbed the breasts of a woman who was a family relative. Several weeks later, another alleged victim described being sexually assaulted in a similar way in 2019. Hooley said that police had investigated Bassett for similar allegations years ago. During Monday's arraignment, Judge Angela Fonsbeck read to Bassett the charges against him. She also appointed him a public defender, Michael McGinnis, to represent him. Court records show Bassett was arrested and charged with forcible sexual abuse and sexual battery back in 2013. He later accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 5 days in jail and 12 months probation. Bassett did not speak during the brief hearing. He is currently out of jail on pretrial release and could face up to 15 years in prison if convicted. KBNU News Time is 5:06. KBNU weather. Partly cloudy this evening, then mostly cloudy. Hazy conditions tonight, patchy fog after midnight, low 10 to 15. Partly cloudy tomorrow, patchy morning fog, and hazy sunshine, upper 20s, and, more of the same Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. It's been to 28. Right now it's 25 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by U&I Furniture, expecting to purchase a lot of inventory direct from manufacturers at upcoming furniture market in Las Vegas. In anticipation, they have aggressive discounts during the January clearance. It's another reason you'll always find a better buy at U&I. Downtown Logan, 28 West, 100 North.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, and where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
KBNU News Time is 5:08. On Monday, the Utah Attorney General's Office Crimes Against Statewide Economy, or CASE, task force worked closely with Roy police to halt a gambling operation at a Roy Texaco gas station. Undercover agents had been observing the location for months, documenting evidence of illegal activity before obtaining a search warrant. 30-year-old Neil Patel has been arrested and charged with 20 counts of fringe gambling devices, 1 count of money laundering, and 1 count of pattern of unlawful activity. Patel owned the Texaco, or has owned the Texaco since 2018. Charges indicate he oversaw gambling operations the whole time. Undercover detectives played the gaming devices and were illegally paid in cash as a payout for winning on the devices. This was part of the gas station standard of operation. During questioning, Patel admitted to operating the devices and that cash from the devices is mixed and deposited with everyday proceeds from the convenience store. Detectives seized 20 video game-style machines that were used for betting and seized several large bags of cash from the location. The location was well known to police and had a negative reputation in the community for frequent visits from law enforcement for various situations. The CASE task force is made up of multiple law enforcement agencies across the state. Officers from the Department of Public Safety, West Valley City, and West Jordan Police Department assisted in this case. During his State of the State address Monday afternoon, Idaho Governor Brad Little recognized a local teacher for her efforts in disarming a school shooter last spring. The governor invited Krista Knighting, an 8th grade math teacher at Rigby Middle School, to stand as she was recognized. Those in attendance at the State House in Boise gave her a standing ovation. 2 students and a custodian were injured the morning of May 6th after a 13-year-old female student fired a gun inside Rigby Middle School. The school was placed on lockdown shortly after the first shot was fired. In an interview with Good Morning America several weeks after the incident, Nighting outlined how the 5-minute ordeal played out. After lending a hand to the victim, she saw the shooter with the gun in hand. She described how she removed the gun while pulling the girl into a hug. The shooter, whose name and motive have never been publicly released, was taken into custody when law enforcement arrived. During a press conference later that day, Jefferson County prosecutor Mark Taylor said she could be charged with 3 counts of attempted murder pending an investigation. There have been no further updates on the case since then. After recognizing Nighting, Little used the occasion to call for improvements in behavioral health care for Idaho youth. KBNU News Time is 5:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date with the latest information. News Talk KVNU 102 FM 610 AM.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, Senator Kelly Loeffler of Georgia joining us to talk about the voting rights push from the Democrats and why was it that we had Biden visiting, but Stacey Abrams MIA from that. Plus, Clay, what do you got?
COVID hospitalizations, Buck, hit a new high. What is that telling us? What will the spin be from the White House, and what will the fallout be from all of Dr. Fauci's testimony? We'll discuss that more. It'll be the Clay and Buck Show. Come on.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU 102 FM at 610 AM.
Kids just want to get out in the world and have fun. But their lives have been put on hold. Getting them thriving again safely starts with protecting them from COVID-19 and dangerous new variants. Get the latest facts by speaking to your pediatrician or healthcare provider, or by visiting getvaccineanswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Feels like Tuesday. Tuesday has no feel.
Now, what starts with the letter C? Cookie starts with C. Let's think of other things that starts with C. Who cares about other things? C is for cookie. That's good enough for
Welcome
me.
back to KVNU's For the People. Hour 2 of today's show. Tuesday, January 11th. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. And, man, I'm excited for this one. You've probably had them. If not, you've seen them. If you haven't seen them, you've heard of them. One way or another, you have been made aware of, for good reason, Crumbl cookies with a long, well, actually a short history here in Utah with Cache Valley ties even, that is ballooned now into what is essentially a national, possibly even international business that continues to grow and gain fame. But why? What makes Crumbl cookies so noteworthy, so sought after, the go-to cookie to deliver as a gift? There are a lot of reasons for this, but one of them is basically tied to their roots, how they began. And our own Bill Walter had a chance to reach out and talk with those that have been there from the beginning days at Crumbl Cookies about what makes Crumbl cookies Crumbl cookies.
Thank you, Jason. On the line this afternoon, we have Laurie Hemsley with Crumbl Cookies. Crumbl Cookies has been around for just a short, not quite 5 years, but it's now a national, even maybe international company. We have Laurie Hemsley. Laurie, thanks for spending a few minutes with us this afternoon here on KVNU.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for calling me.
So now let me get this right. This original recipe kind of originated in your kitchen. Is that correct?
Well, yes and no. Like, a lot of the recipes do come from our recipe cookbook. That's where they start. But when we were starting to find the very best, are you talking about the chocolate chip cookie?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Your first one.
We just decided to try a lot of different recipes and see which one worked the best and was the fan favorite. So we actually just tried a lot of different ones, and we went around to our neighborhood, and we have a little grocery store and a gas station close to our home. We took all these cookies around to all the people, and we're asking which one they liked the best, and we kind of narrowed it down to a couple that we liked the best. And then we had to adjust the recipe to, of course, making our great big mixers and decide exactly which kind of chocolate chip we wanted to use and, all of those little details. But until they finally came up with the perfect recipe. So, no, it wasn't my very own, but it was a combination of some things.
Okay, very good. So this was all around the time frame around, 2015, 2016?
2017 is when they actually started, so it was up and going pretty fast.
All right. So
once he decided to do it, it was a go.
Now, this is your son and his cousin that really wanted to do this. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And your son
came up and we started baking in my kitchen, so yes.
Your son is Sawyer Hemsley, and I understand he was, at the time, he was a student at Utah State University.
Yes, he was trying to finish up and graduate and doing an internship, and he had a major and a minor, so he's quite busy. But, yes, he's a pretty driven kid.
Now, the first location, if memory serves me right, I did a little bit of research on this, the little wooden building that I don't think is there anymore, but across from the Logan River from the Riverwoods Complex on South Main and Logan. That was your original location?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, the premier cookie, as we've been talking about, the fresh milk chocolate chip cookie was the initial offering for Crumbl cookies.
Yes, it was. We had a big decision to make if it was going to be a semi-sweet or a milk, but we decided the most popular was the milk, so we went with that. And
growth just took off like crazy, the popularity and everything, or was it over kind of a course of 6 months or so?
You know what? It was super fast because we opened up the first franchise. I can't even remember. It wasn't even a year, I don't think, after in Bountiful. So it was pretty quick. Yeah, it went really well there in Logan, and they were ready to go and opened up another place in Orem where it was kind of just going to be kind of like a warehouse, but that went big too, and it just went really fast. I can't remember the month frame time from the Orem store and the Bountiful store, but it was all pretty quick.
And now, how many different states are you in, roughly?
That's a good question. We are almost in all 50 states, I'm pretty sure. And we have 320 stores open right now, with 600 more scheduled to open this year. And I know they're working on getting into Canada and Mexico. So
those will be your first international outreach. That'll be part of your international outreach if you can get in to those countries.
Yes.
All right. So your 2 Logan stores just going great guns right now. Tell me about your selections. You have kind of a rotating menu of 4 basic cookies now?
Yes, we do. They have each week they have a schedule made up, and we let the public know the Sunday night before what the new flavors will be for that week. And we always have the milk chocolate chip. We have always had the pink sugar cookie as well, but lately we've been trying to add a few more different chilled cookies. So we've taken that off a little bit and added like 5 new cookies. But the public is really upset. A majority of the public loves that pink sugar and wants it to be back and be a staple. So they are kind of tossing that around. But yeah,
okay,
so many cookies that
I
can't
guess
fit them all in. So
you have to listen to the public. But yeah, that's right. So and now you've, out of kind of homage to your son's alma mater, Utah State University. Was it late last year that you introduced the Aggie Blue Mint cookie?
Yes. Yep. And it's been going really well. That was of course, he loves Utah State, and he wanted to develop something that would represent his school. He loved the Aggie Blue Mint ice cream. And so that was actually one of the longest cookies to develop. They wanted to make sure that it was right. And they were able to obviously do a pretty good job because it's been pretty popular in Logan. And we only in Logan offer that cookie on the weekends because it's been a pretty popular cookie. So we've kept it in Logan on the weekends right now.
And I've had it. It's delicious. It's a wonderful cookie and a great tribute to Utah State and the Aggie Blue Mint brand. So now, any more expansion of that cookie elsewhere outside of Cache Valley?
Oh yes, it's been on our menu everywhere, and it is a popular cookie. But of course, in Utah, people know Utah State the best, and so it is more popular here. But yeah, we do have it everywhere, but we have kept it here in Logan and not in the other stores. So that's kind of a bonus. It's been an extra cookie here in Logan.
All right, but available Friday and Saturdays.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Those are the days to get your Aggie Blue Mint fix at Crumbl Cookies.
We also do catering, and so we've had a lot of customers will call in and do some catering for the Aggie Blue Mint, so they can get that during the week. And that's just our little mini cookie.
Oh, okay. So people can get their fix.
Or the large ones. Yeah, they can get the large or the minis if they want to do a catering order with that cookie.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. Well, Crumbl Cookies is a huge success story. I think I read that it's the fastest growing cookie shop ever in history as far as a franchise.
It actually is. Yeah, it is. It's really fast growing for sure. And we have, the public and our customers to thank for that. So we are just grateful to have started in such a great community that supported us.
So early on, when you got the recipe and you found something, you neighborhood tested your cookie in your little neighborhood here, and then you opened the first shop. Did any of you foresee this when, like on that first day, you opened the shop on South Main in Logan? What would happen from the very first day? Did you? Yeah.
We actually did not. We had, of course, all of our family helping, and we were calling in the troops. I mean, we were calling for help. It was really busy, and we deliver, and so we were calling in everybody that we could think of to come and help deliver. We were just really more busy than we anticipated. It was wonderful. We had a long line out the door, and the store was full, and deliveries were hot, so it was a busy, fun time.
Well, it's amazing, and like a lot of franchises from just that one store. I mean, whether you're talking Wendy's hamburgers, one store in Columbus, Ohio, that got it going, or any other big franchise, it starts off like that as a mom and pop, a family operation. So very very interesting how that develops. You never know as you start a store. Something is going to catch on. Maybe something won't catch on. But a very nice success story right here in Cache Valley, Crumbl Cookies.
Yes, thank you. We love it. We love Crumbl.
All right. In fact, after just talking about Crumbl Cookies, I may need to leave here and go get some milk chocolate chip or whatever else is being offered today.
Well, I hope you do. It's a good week. They've got a lot of good cookies.
Okay, Laurie Hemsley, who is on the ground floor of Crumbl Cookies, as it had its humble beginnings with one store in the Cache Valley, and now how many? 320. Is that right? 320 stores in the United States, and may go other places very soon. Laurie, again, thank you for spending a few minutes with us and telling us about your wonderful product.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay. Well, Laurie, I think that'll do it. Anything that because I'll write this up.
For me, I'd like a cookie. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
Ah, that's better. Trade in the stresses of building a new home for relaxation. Visionary Homes Priority is giving you a stress-free building experience. Named the best home builder in northern Utah, Visionary Homes team will guide you seamlessly through the home building process. Call today, 435-228-4702, or visit visionaryhomes.com to learn more about upcoming communities in Nibley, Logan, and Smithfield. Visionary Homes, built for living, built for you.
I will be right by your side.
Women can have it all, including heart attacks. But symptoms like jaw pain, nausea, unusual fatigue, dizziness, and backache are often different and more subtle than for a man. The fact is, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Know the signs. Learn more at getheartchecked.org. From Women's Heart Alliance, in partnership with Women Heart.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
182 over 100. And I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. And then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life.
A lot of people don't understand, including myself, I didn't, now I do, the impact of having a stroke.
My memory is shot.
When I woke up, I couldn't speak.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
It's a new life, but I'm going to make it better. I'm coming back. Ask your doctor, check your blood pressure.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. No surprise, water bills being unveiled left and right with exactly a week before the 2022 legislative session makes its grand opening for 45 days of fun and festivities, and who knows what else they'll get up to. The Utah legislature, I'll be honest with you, a bit of a mess the last couple of years. And I say this as a fan of the legislative process. People complain all the time that it's too slow. I say that's a feature, not a bug. People complain that it sometimes takes 3 years to get large issues dealt with and taken care of. And I say that as well is a feature, not a bug. There were complaints from those who wanted to see, and I understand it, they're talking about people's health and families that would be, see an improved quality of life from the creation of a medicinal marijuana program. But I think it's actually a good thing that it took 3 years, 3 tries for this to happen. I think it's a bad thing that the legislature then punted one more time and it had to be taken care of via ballot initiative. I think that should be an embarrassment for the legislature. But still, without that 3-year process, if lawmakers had done what they, I think, in their own minds wish they had done, it would have been a good process. And that's just one example. So I like the slowness of it. I like that it can be a bit messy here and there. I like that a lot of different stakeholders have to come together to make anything big happen. I think that's all a good thing. In theory, I like the citizen legislature. I like the idea of people with regular jobs like us going and representing us in the House and the Senate, State House and the State Senate. The problem is it's not very diverse. Everyone's in real estate or an attorney because those are the people that have the money to run or the time to run for office. I don't think that's a great idea. I also don't like that our legislature can never admit to a mistake, despite the fact that we're all watching them make some pretty significant ones, especially in the last couple of years. So I'll worry about the consolidation of power within the legislative body. They've taken power from the governor. They've taken power from the judiciary. They've taken power from cities and counties below them and consolidated it very jealously while telling everyone, at least in their own remarks, that they are the smartest men in the room, and then doing things occasionally that makes you think, oh, are you? And I'm not saying that they should be held to some standard above that. I'm saying it bothers me they won't acknowledge that they make mistakes. Of course they're going to make mistakes. We're all adults here, right? Or in theory. So with that all in mind, the legislative session is going to be all about water, and it's going to be a fight. And I worry that dealing with an issue this important, that some of the more petty squabbles and knee-jerk panicked reactionaryism that seems to be dominating this iteration of the Utah State House especially, I worry that we're going to end up in some trouble with water. And I hope Cache Valley lawmakers are up to the challenge, because Salt Lake County, Weber County, Davis County, everyone is staring at the northern part of Utah, the Bear River water area, respectively, and going, how do we get me some of that? So Cache Valley lawmakers, I think, have a big challenge ahead of them to defend our interests when it comes to water development bills this year, and probably next, probably the one after that. With that in mind, one of the bigger fights is actually going to be down south involving Utah Lake. A Utah Lake Summit is planned for this week, similar to the Great Salt Lake Summit that we'll have some highlights from here on the show. This one deals specifically with the way development deals are made when it comes to Utah's bodies of water. And specifically, a Republican lawmaker is sponsoring a piece of legislation that says when it comes to lakes, rivers, and things like that, they belong to the community, not an individual or not anyone with the money to develop something. This involves a proposed development for an island in Utah Lake for some type of a resort. Residents hated it, and a lawmaker is now stepping in to make this type of thing very difficult here in Utah. I don't have an opinion on this. I don't know enough about what's going on in Utah County there when it comes to Utah Lake and this specific development, but I do know it's new for the legislature to be taking these tactics. So keep an eye out for this as well. Water is going to be causing a lot of tension during the legislative session, to say the least. I've linked to the legislation if you want to read it. It's an interesting new approach for Utah Republicans overriding cities and counties. We'll talk about it more, I'm sure, as the legislative session plays out. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:33, and the news is brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. A 36-year-old Salt Lake City man has been sentenced to jail for molesting a Smithfield boy last year. Robert DeGray was ordered to turn himself in to the Cache County Jail by Saturday morning to begin incarceration. DeGray was sentenced during a virtual hearing in First District Court Monday morning. He previously accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to one count of attempted forcible sexual abuse, a third-degree felony. Last June, Smithfield City police officers learned that a teenage boy had disclosed during a forensic interview that DeGray, a relative, had touched him inappropriately. The defendant had coerced the boy to touch him in a sexual nature also. The teen's mother later contacted DeGray during a recorded phone call. During the conversation, DeGray admitted to molesting the victim. Judge Angela Fonsbeck said it was heartbreaking how the victim's life had been impacted by DeGray's selfish desires. She ordered DeGray to serve 120 days in jail, followed by 48 months probation, and have no contact with the victim or his family. An American Fork man has been arrested under suspicion of impersonating a police officer, the very same offense he was arrested for in 2012. KUTV reports 39-year-old William Graham was arrested Sunday for impersonating an officer, a Class B misdemeanor. According to arrest records, American Fork police officers responded to the American Fork Hospital after staff reported that a man, later identified as Graham, was at the hospital wearing a duty uniform and claiming to be a police officer. An affidavit for arrest states that Graham was wearing a uniform, including a vest, badge, and Salt Lake City police shoulder patches, and that Graham told hospital staff he was an officer and performed officer duties such as traffic stops. Staff was initially suspicious of Graham because they recognized him as the same man who was in the hospital wearing a U.S. Army uniform 2 days earlier, according to the affidavit. Graham was taken into custody by American Fork Police. Sunday's encounter with police was not the first time that Graham has been accused of impersonating a police officer. In 2012, Graham was arrested by American Fork Police for the very same thing. Graham entered a no-contest plea for that charge, and it was later dismissed in 2014 after a successful plea and abeyance where Graham paid all fines and had no further violations of the law. And a man has been extradited from Mexico to face charges, including murder, in Utah. According to a news release, Juan Antonio Aurelio Murillo was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail late last Thursday evening. He's facing charges of aggravated murder, robbery, and burglary. Aurelio is suspected of killing 29-year-old Sonia Mejia in Taylorsville on February 9th, 2006, then killing 57-year-old Damiano Castillo in West Valley City exactly 2 years later. He faces life in prison if convicted, but not the death penalty. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill said that's due to complexities with extraditing the suspect from across the border. The Salt Lake Tribune reported that Sonia Mejia and Damiana Castillo died 1 mile and 2 years apart. Police have long believed the same man murdered them. Investigators have known Aurelia's identity since 2016 when a fingerprint found at one of the murder scenes was matched to him, according to newly revealed court records. KBNU News Time is 5:37.
The colder weather is here. Are your quilts and blankets looking dingy? Is your winter coat or jacket dirty enough to stand in the corner just by itself? Well, go to Mount Logan Laundry. It'll take no time at all to freshen up everything. They have the 55 and 80-pound washers, the biggest around, and great big dryers, too, and it costs a whole lot less than dry cleaning. Free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town on the corner of 5th East, 9th North in Logan, or in Brigham at 1st East, 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
KBNU weather, partly cloudy this evening, then mostly cloudy, hazy through the night, patchy fog after midnight, low 10 to 15. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, patchy morning fog, high temperature in the upper 20s. Partly sunny Thursday with patchy fog in the morning and again upper 20s for the high. It's been to 28 today. It's 24 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Adams Wealth Advisors. They put clients first under any circumstance. You'll receive peace of mind with Adams Wealth Advisors. Schedule a time with an advisor today. Call 752-1702 or visit adamswealthadvisors.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
It's the winter weekend everyone loves. Bear Lake's Monster Winter Fest. January 21st through the 23rd. Go to bearlake.org for details on events, plus hotel and lodging deals. Come up for a weekend of food and tons of fun as hundreds of people brave the icy cold waters of Bear Lake for the Monster Polar Plunge. There's a chili cook-off, cardboard boat regatta, fun run, and Cisco Disco fishing tournament. Go to bearlake.org for all the info and lodging specials. The Monster Winterfest, January 21st through the 23rd in Bear Lake.
When the bills from your accident pile up, it's time for you to consider professional legal counsel. Get the Bear. Berenson and Caldwell.
My dad was in a car accident. He was rear-ended by a work truck. He sustained some pretty bad injuries. What we didn't know at the time was that he also had sustained a traumatic brain injury, and it really affected his personality. You know, if he had just had an MRI, if he'd had someone pushing him to get checked out, make him feel confident that he wasn't going to end up going bankrupt with medical debt.
Visit BerensonLaw.com to instantly connect and receive a free case review of your injury. BerensonLaw.com.
I lived alone and was having problems with my landlord. He's a creep. One night I'm watching TV and I hear my landlord letting himself in. Hey, get out. You can't keep coming in.
I'm just here to fix your fridge and spend some time together.
Get out. I'm reporting you.
Don't make a federal case of it.
A federal case? Sexual harassment in housing is against federal law. If you are harassed, file a complaint with HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. If you fear for your safety, call 911. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Technology can make our lives more fun, convenient, and connect us with friends. But when tech is used for cyberbullying, children's lives can be damaged. Peter and Amanda Como found good communication protects their kids.
I would suggest, if you're having an issue, to go to jw.org. It really gives us the tools to be able to help our children through something that we never encountered when we were teenagers. We didn't have the internet to be bullied. So the resources there are just invaluable and practical.
One of those resources is the animated video, Beat a Bully Without Using Your Fist. Their 16-year-old son picked up tips to help if he was bullied.
Oh, you could use humor, you could just not listen, or you could just be kind back to them and compliment them, and it'll dissolve the situation. There's multiple different ways that video brings out.
To find more tips and tools to protect your child from cyberbullying, look to stopbullying.gov or search bullying on jw.org.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. I'm Jason Williams. We spoke with them several weeks ago about a really fun, long fundraiser they were doing with a generous donor agreeing to match donations up to $100,000. The family place underwent about several months of community fundraising through a really fun Starfish Giving program that is still an option, even though the deadline on the generous donors match has come and gone. You're always welcome to support the Family Place with a donation, volunteering your time, what have you. The Family Place Utah website is linked on our Facebook page. They're back with us again today. We'll be speaking with a representative of the Family Place about something different and something that many people in Cache Valley probably don't know is the case, which is the simple fact that the Family Place has been in operation here, providing very critical services for 40 years. They'll be celebrating that 40-year anniversary throughout the year this year. So to help us understand what that means, what will be going on, and how you can get involved, we have with us Krista Usechi. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's great.
I had some help earlier. Jennifer there helped me, but
yes.
Krista, you have an important role there at the Family Place, right? You're the kids person.
Yes, I'm the kids place director here. I have the best job. I get to work with the kids.
This is, we talked with Jennifer a little over a month ago about this fundraiser. We also talked about some of the services the Family Place provides, and this one really sticks out to me. But one of the things you could donate money towards was giving a parent a break. And we talked about that a little bit, how sometimes for parents, for families under a lot of stress, sometimes financial, sometimes they're in the middle of moving, maybe it's just the holiday blues or all the craziness of life sometimes, a parent having the option to just step away for a couple of hours while their kids get to play and have fun and even learn under supervised conditions there at the Family Place. That sounds so easy to all the rest of it. That could be critical for a family, though, right?
Absolutely. I mean, anyone that has kids knows that it's tough, and we all need a break sometimes.
Sure. And that, of course, is just one of hundreds of different services the Family Place provides. Many of them are available for free even. And again, you can see them all on the resources page there at the familyplaceutah.org website. I've linked to that on our own Facebook page. Krista, tell us, what does 40 years mean for the Family Place? How are you guys going to be celebrating?
Well, that's just exciting. Yeah, here's to 40 years this year. And this all started, the Family Place, as a child and family support center, as a place for parents to go when they were stressed, especially in preventing child abuse, just so that they could have a break. And so the kids are really at the heart of the Family Place and what we do. That's why it's so exciting to me to be the Kids Place director and to be able to work with kids to this day, because that's where it all started 40 years ago, was just wanting to help parents in Cache Valley get the strength they need. And in fact, our mission is to strengthen families and protect children. And that's what we've been doing for the last 40 years.
Sure. And that can range from one of the items discussed in, by the way, for listeners, the Family Place has a podcast. The Parents Place podcast is available Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, all of those places. And the latest episode, a lot of discussion on indoor fun, ways to keep kids entertained while the weather doesn't really welcome going outside, at least the temperatures of late especially. But so services range from that to actual counseling and support services for a family maybe in a more serious situation that involves maybe domestic violence, maybe just the loss of a job and needing a little bit of a leg up or a break for a couple of weeks in this way or that way. And this is all done through and funded through state support, some federal support, but mainly community support, right?
Definitely, yes. We rely heavily on our community, and we are so blessed to live in Cache Valley. We are having that Starfish Giving campaign going on, and people have been so supportive of the Family Place and giving kids a break, giving things to our shelter, to our therapy services, education services, definitely.
This is amazing to me. And for listeners, if you want an idea of what the Family Place is all about, again, visit their website, thefamilyplaceutah.org. You can also find them on social media, Facebook, YouTube, and more. And give you an idea as well of some of the things happening through the Family Place. This evening, in fact, a really interesting training for parents, assertiveness, self-compassion, and self-validation. What can that mean for a family, those three topics for this training tonight?
Yeah, I think it's just helping. I mean, we're here to help provide and give tools to parents, to better navigate in this world that can be a little bit difficult and challenging, because kids don't come with instruction books. And being able to take those tools and add them to their tool belt to make them more assertive, or whatever it is that they need to work on, anything helps, right? To strengthen the family.
Krista, I'm currently dealing with a new puppy. And let me tell you, assertiveness is critical. I can't imagine a house full of children.
Right, absolutely.
But again, these services are invaluable for families in the Valley. Tomorrow, an online event the Family Place is hosting on adult mental health first aid, how to spot red flags in crisis situations. And a lot of it is just for fun, learning how to play, ideas for families if you've got both parents maybe stretched very thin with jobs, with other responsibilities, and they're still trying to work in some time to keep interacting with the kids. There are some tips on that as well in some of these trainings. And Krista, I know, I spoke earlier as we arranged this interview with Jennifer there at the Family Place, and she said one of the goals of this 40-year anniversary celebration throughout 2022 is to also kind of give back to the community, which you're already doing through these services. Many people, though, are, again and again I run into it, many people aren't aware of the Family Place, the resources that you provide. So in 2022, you're hoping to really just let people know you're there, right?
Absolutely. And that it's open to the whole community, for sure, that we have classes. I can speak directly for the Kids Place, right? We have anybody in the community with children ages 0 to 11 can come and bring their children here for 2 hours once a week for our scheduled weekly care, just to have that break every week and know if they need to go to the doctor, the grocery store, that they have a safe place where their kids can come and they can get things done. Or just take a break, read a book, take a shower, right?
Sure.
Some of those things it's nice to do without the presence of little fingers under the door.
Yeah, that's right. And some of it is critical to a family's healthy functioning. I know, Krista, from my own experience, to personalize this a bit, I was lucky, or I should say my parents were lucky in that my sibling and I they could turn to relatives, large family, my aunts, uncles, grandparents. Many families don't have those resources, though, and they're literally, it's just them. Maybe a helpful neighbor here and there. And that's why the Family Place is there to kind of step in and say, hey, we can help.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your role there at the Family Place. How do you plan a year of celebration when it comes to the kids' place?
Ours is lucky, just sharing with the kids and being able to get the kids involved in different activities that we're going to be doing this year, like Play with the Family Place and Fly with the Family Place. You'll see lots of different activities involved, and we like to involve all of our families. Just providing a place for the kids, getting the word out there that we have a safe place for kids to go, not only in Logan, but in Hiram and Smithfield. I think people are surprised sometimes that we have 3 locations.
That's right. And also offering these services even outside of Cache Valley is right. I know that you guys have helped in Rich County and Box Elder County in the past.
Right, as well as Franklin County. We have taken some classes, and our RV has gone up there, so yes. That
is amazing. For parents out there, please connect with the Family Place. Upcoming events on youth mental health. Again, as I mentioned, an event tomorrow online, a virtual event on mental health first aid, learning to recognize certain red flags of unhealthy thinking and things like that. Something that I'm sure every parent out there can attest is it crops up now and then, at least.
Yes, and every family, right? We're all exposed to different things and all know somebody that might be struggling.
Sure.
So might as well take a class to learn how to help them and give them that first aid that they need.
That's right. It's been an anxious couple of years for all of us with the pandemic, with some of the things that you see in the news on a regular basis. The Family Place also has resources along those lines. It could be as simple as just a parent needing someone to talk to or being connected with experts in certain areas of child behavior and things like that. The Family Place has all of those resources available. And again, their website, thefamilyplaceutah.org, is a great place to stop. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary here in Cache Valley as a critical resource for parents. Throughout 2022, you'll see various events, which you can find on the full calendar at the website, thefamilyplaceutah.org. As well as their regular events, they will have some special events for 2022 to celebrate this anniversary. And Krista, how did this all begin 40 years ago?
Yeah, it started it was a group of community members that started in a small home that they started in Logan, Utah, of providing a safe place for kids to go when parents were distressed. And possibly, dealing with child abuse and different issues like that. When you think about issues like that, where do the kids go? What happens, when there's issues in the home and the kids don't have a safe place to go? So the community opened up, in 1982, a small home that later has now turned into 3 facilities where we can help families, like I said, to, strengthen families and protect children.
It's amazing stuff, and if you want to get an idea of who this is for, which, really, the Family Place is for everyone, regardless of your situation, whether it's just a busy week, a month, or whether it's something more serious, like as Krista mentioned, issues with domestic violence or transitions between homes and jobs. The Family Place has something that will help. Check all.
Absolutely.
It's amazing to talk about, and it's such a critical service here in the Valley. And again, throughout 2022, they'll be celebrating 40 years of helping families here in Cache Valley. Thefamilyplaceutah.org. And our guest, again, has been Krista Usechi, director of the Kids Place at the Family Place. And Krista, one last question for you here. If parents out there are looking to get involved, either maybe making a donation, of course, which you can do at the website, or volunteering their time, where should they start?
Yeah, a simple phone call. I was like, our phone number is on the website. But yeah, we have so many different opportunities to get involved, whether it's through volunteering. You can help set up crafts for our princess parties and different things like that. Or if you just want to be in the kids' place, we would love to have people come and help and read books to kids. There's many ways to get involved.
Absolutely, and they can always use your help. Again, the ongoing Starfish, I love this, by the way, Krista. I've been talking about this for months. The Starfish Giving Machine at the FamilyPlaceUtah.org website. You can go through and just pick items, make a donation, and the money goes towards that item. And I'm so excited about this. You can buy a stuffed black lab puppy, a stuffed animal, That for $20, your donation, that will result in a child getting that animal, and they're used sort of as therapy pets. I love this idea.
Yes, we actually in our shelter have a therapy dog that comes. Her name is Duchess, and she's a black lab. So the children have the opportunity to interact with the dog and have an experience with the dog. And then at the end of the experience, they get their own black lab to take home and take care of.
That is amazing. This is, again, a critical resource for Cache Valley. Been here for 40 years, celebrating this year, throughout the year, special events and more from the Family Place, offering services throughout Cache Valley and Franklin County, Rich County, Box Elder County, and they can always use your support. If you're out there and you're in need of anything, literally, that might pop up for a family, for a parent, for children, the Family Place has something for you. TheFamilyPlaceUtah.org is the website. And Krista, congratulations, 40 years here in Cache Valley. And thank you for taking some time for KVNU today.
Yeah, thank you.
And for listeners, one more time, find them on Facebook, YouTube, and more. The Family Place Utah.
It's John and Emily with Zero Res. If you've been putting off getting your carpets cleaned, there's no better time to call than now.
Call today and get on the schedule in January and get a 4th room clean for free when you mention the station.
This sale only happens once a year, so call now, 435-554-1050, or schedule online and use promo code FREEROOM.
That's 435-554-1050. Zero Res. Backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
This is Mark Thurston from White Pine Funeral Services. On behalf of all of us here at White Pine, we want to thank the community of Cache Valley for your support this past year. Thank you for selecting us as a silver winner for the Best of Northern Utah. We look forward to many more years of working with you here in our community. We know you have a choice, and we hope you will consider White Pine Funeral Services. If you have questions about cremation, funerals, or planning ahead, please contact us or visit whitepinefunerals.com.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Reached the Sheriff's Department Civil Processing Division. Please hold where call is transferred to Sergeant David Chapman.
Deputy McCoy.
This is Sheriff Chad Jensen. Fraudulent phone calls similar to this one have been received by many citizens in Cache County. The most common scams are asking for payment over the phone because of a lawsuit, civil bench warrant, or to post bail for a family member who has supposedly been arrested. They ask for payment in form of prepaid cards, gift cards, or money transfers, and if you do not pay, they threaten to arrest you. The Sheriff's Office does not take payment or ask for personal information over the phone. These types of scams often use internet phone numbers which are nearly impossible to track. If you receive a phone call of this nature, do not give out any personal information and hang up. Be cautious about the information you give out over the phone to make sure you are not the next victim of a scam.
This is the Sean Hannity Show.
And when the Taliban was on the march, he could have just hit them with airstrikes, pushed them back, expedited the withdrawal while we had control of Kabul, gotten out every American, every Afghan ally, all of our military equipment. Well, we didn't know this would happen in 11 days. You should have known, because the Taliban was on the march since the month of March.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 on News Talk KVNU.
That is our show for today. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate our guests. And we'll be back tomorrow with more. It's a big day for the upcoming legislative session tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day that is, lovingly titled Bill Reveal Day. This means that most of the bills that have been filed by lawmakers and have text in them will officially be made public ahead of the legislative session. So we'll have a lot to talk about as far as what we can expect from the legislative session. Also, tomorrow, new data from UDOT answering some basic questions. How are Utahns doing? Where in a lot of communities, new things, not new to some parts of the country, but new here, like roundabouts and different style of stop signs, physical medians, and more, hoping to control the flow of traffic, looking 10 years ahead to when there's double this amount of traffic on the roads. How's it going? How are Utahns adapting to these things that, again, aren't new here or everywhere, but are very new here. Well, UDOT has some data on that. They've sent it our way. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the program. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.
Miss a minute, you're missing a lot. Breaking news, stimulating talk, News Talk, KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1.